Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing great today. We are doing another mining run. It's been a couple of weeks, I suppose, and we are mining the Arcadia Underground, and we're mining probably one of the best areas in the game right now. Maybe. There's a couple of areas on Calypso that I've never shown in a video, and I probably will never ever show in a video because they are choice. However, if you're on Arcadia and you're not mining in this area, and you guys remember I got the tower here, there was just an Ignisium, I think there's another Ignisium tower here not too long ago, you should be probably mining in this area because there's a couple of key resources in this area. There's Ignisium, that's currently going for 160%, and there's Dianthus, and if you catch the Dianthus wave just right, like I did the other night, you can do very well for yourself. Now, the other two locations on Calypso that I will never show in a video has the same resource plus one or two additional resources that make them just crazy good. So, we're back here. But anyway, there's a lot of questions that you guys had for me the last couple weeks. I've been trying to do a video the last couple nights, but I wanted entertaining runs, and a lot of times they weren't, or I was having a mic issue, or I just wasn't recording, or I wasn't really paying attention to what I was saying in the recording, so I decided to scrap most of it and just get it done tonight. Now, we're rolling here with the Terra Master 3 Gold Rush, and we're using a level 7. This whole week I was kind of mining with the Terra Amp 7s. I made a mistake in the last video. I think I mentioned a Terra Amp 11. It doesn't even exist. I meant the Terra Amp 7. And we'll be picking up anything if we find anything with the Rock Ripper 3 Gold Rush. So let's get mining and let's get into the questions. The first question I had that was on my Q&A question video last week was, is there any way to skill mining? The commenter said there's ways to skill in hunting and there is ways to skill in crafting. Is there any way to skill in mining? So, but before I answer that, we're going to drop a probe here. We're going both ore and end matter. We're leaving treasure for somebody else to pick up because I'm not going to be dealing with that stuff. So, there is no direct way to skill mining for skilling per se. Now there's items that you could use. For instance, the Rock Ripper has a mining increase, or mining bonus I should say. Let's see, where is it here? Skill gain mining, a 10% skill gain mining. There's pills that you can consume that you can get off the web shop, and there might be something else that I might be missing for mining. However, I've always given out the advice to, if you really like the game, if you're playing it a little bit and you really enjoy the game, to chip in a couple of the harder skills to gain. Now, the mining skill itself, the drilling, and the extraction skills are super easy to gain. Gain that yourself. Don't buy any chips for that. But it's the harder stuff, the prospecting and the geology, stuff like that. You could pick up a chip fairly cheap on the auction house, and it will fill you up with a bunch of skills you need to get to the F105. And once you're comfortably sitting with the F105, you should do okay. You should, that's what you should aim for, is to max out the F105. Now, it's going to take a considerable amount of time if you do that naturally compared to a cheaper amount of time per pet, I guess, if you just buy it through auction. When I first started playing, there were no skill implants 10 or 15 years ago, whatever. I guess it's 12 years ago now, right? Yeah, around there, I guess. So there's no skill implants. Second question, will I do a mining planet-side Rocktropia? I think they're looking for a good area in Rocktropia. It's been a while since I've kind of mined the planet-side Rocktropia, and the last time I really did it was a couple of years ago, and they did change some of the resource spawns around there, so I couldn't really tell you where is a good place to mine in Rocktropia at the moment. typically around the C&D, the lagoon part used to be a good one because you used to be able to get alternative out of that area. And I don't even know if Zom Hatton is still there and if it's mineable, but I used to get Ignisium out of there. Now alternative has dropped in price considerably since back when I used to mine. It used to go for 150% easy. I think it goes for 116% now on orders. So a question about how I do my videos and am I dropping random bombs in the videos. And it's kind of a double-headed question. You know, am I dropping random bombs? Am I just doing this randomly? It might seem so, right? I'm just kind of flying willy-nilly around and dropping probes. And yes, I kind of am. However, there's a couple of things I'm looking for. One is the skill gains. If I'm getting a lot of skill gains, I consider myself in the right area. If I don't even loot anything, I'm still getting a lot of skill gains. But technically, or not technically, but usually it means that I'm going to do okay in the mining run. It doesn't happen all the time, but I always follow the skill gains all the time. Second, I like to mine near mobs if they're not super aggressive. Here we're dealing with the Badgers, which is a mining robot, I guess. If there's other people in here, I will pop probes right next to these suckers or go in between the large groups. I do not overlap drops. So am I doing it randomly? Not really. Not really. I'm testing the area out. I'm seeing if it's worth actually going through and doing another mining run. And if I come back to this area, it's probably not going to be another hour and a half later anyway, unless it's hidden substantially good. So I'm not the kind of guy that'll go and do carpet bombing a mine or have to hit every square inch of this, because I don't believe that's how it works. So hopefully that answers your question. A good comment here about Screwy17 on the Q&A video, and he was referring to space in the space, and I was talking about space in the last couple of videos, and it says, wouldn't space be more appealing with more variety in ships, upgrades, shields, cloaking, etc.? And absolutely, yeah, and I think I try to hit on that, and I think that's what John Black Knight was going for in his post on Planet Calypso forum, and I agree with you 100%. I'd love to see different ships. I'd love to see more stuff, and he said it would be solvable for Entropia, and I totally agree with you. It would help out, I think, Minarch immensely. Just giving us more content altogether. You know, it doesn't have to be what I said in the last videos about aliens and, you know, flying whales and whatever the hell else I spoke about. It can be ship upgrades and skills and everything else. Yeah, absolutely. A couple questions about YouTube. I'll actually wait until last for them. Opinion on synthetic mine essence. Wouldn't it be better to remove it to drive the sweat prices up? Yes, you're right. It would. And from a game economic standpoint, that's abundant lightostone right there. Where is it at? Oh, right over there. Okay. 52 peds, by the way, guys. 52 peds. Synthetic mine essence, yeah. If you remove it, I think it would be better for the game's economy. It'd help get the new players to provide some funding for themselves, other than, I don't even know the going rate of sweat anymore. Is it still 2 pec? Is it less? It's probably less by now. But on the other side of that equation is, are there going to be people always mining or always sweating animals, and is there going to be enough to support the Mine Force participants? I don't know. I can't answer that. So I could see why they would want a backup plan for that skill, or for that profession rather, for Mine Force. Alright, let's get situated here, park the truck, and got a long, 2 long letters. One, I'm not going to mention who it is, and it just says, you know, hey, sorry in advance if this is long-winded, thank you for your time. I'm sort of new, 2 weeks old, and done some research and past mentorship. Congratulations. Broke now, but have a Finder F105, and I know my skills are lacking, but I was actually hoping to find an F106, but those seem semi-rare. And the F106, you should probably stay away from for now, and it is about, I think, don't quote me on this, but they're usually about 600 to 700 pet each. So you could definitely fit yourself in, if you're looking for that, you could definitely fit yourself into a different finder, like a Z25 or an F213, for a fraction of the cost. And they're limited. Yes, you don't have to repair them. However, you're not stuck with a $700-800 fine, or $700-800 ped fine. They're probably a lot more now because a lot of people actually tiered them up and they want more money for them, obviously. So I feel as though mining has the most potential as crafting. Okay, mining's potential, hunting is great. Hunting always seems to end in losses. Yeah, that's pretty typical. So I was looking into mining and watched a bucket load of my videos. Thank you very much. Okay, so the real question then, how many steps or meters should I take between drops? Being a low-level miner, do I drop for ores and matters, or both? This is a low-level miner. Your mentor should let you know where you should be dropping your probes. You should only be dropping probes where there are good markup resources, such as the Ignisium and the Stone, or the Dianthus, or whatever else that we might be going for. So do a little bit of research. There's definitely ways you could do it. You could go back and watch my videos. There's other videos on YouTube. You could go on Planet Calypso forum and look at the HOF list and look at the global list and see what type of globals are being globaled where. You could take a look at their nav set map right down here, or yeah, their nav set, right? That's what this thing's called, this little compass thing. But it gives longitude, latitude. A lot of people don't blur that out. So you can see where people are mining. And then you could go on Entropia Life or go on auction and see how much that resource is worth for markup. So do some research before you start dropping considerable amounts of probes, and only drop considerable amounts of probes within those areas, and only mine within those areas if it's productive to mine in those areas. I can tell you right now, if I wasn't doing this video, I would turn the game off, because we have one global in only a few, like more than a few drops, not only a few drops, but more than a few globs. So this is not really great mining run right now. How many steps should you take between drops? 110 steps planet side, and then half that if you're doing one of the more advanced areas, such as the underground, Foma, Hell, or Monria. Yeah, I'm hoping for another global here, so I'm like hesitating. Okay, I know I doubt I'll make much back in the early days, but it seems wiser to drop both in the long run. It equals money, right? No, it doesn't. It doesn't ever equal money to drop both. Most of the time when I'm mining, it's typically one or the other, unless I'm in one of my key areas and I'm mining both. Notice how I'm almost never dropping for treasure, unless it's for a video. But I always say in those videos, I don't drop for treasure. I do it for time typically, so that the videos run short for me. So is it wiser to mine for end matter? Not usually. I would definitely kind of stick with ore. There seems to be a lot better ore choices that have markup over end matter. A lot of the better end matter stuff you won't loot probably for a while. And especially now that energized crystal isn't even all that great anymore. There's not a lot of reason to mine for end matter. Alright, how much do you think I'll have to deposit before I stop having such severe losses? It took me a couple of years. I deposited several $1,000s. I want to put this in perspective for everybody watching, okay? Before I hit big, before I hit towers, or before I start getting ped back, I have significant losses. It could be as high as 9,000 ped. Okay, I could be down 9,000 ped on my spreadsheets before I start seeing any sort of improvement or any sort of payback. And that's why it's super important to keep your markup high. It's to cover those losses. It doesn't happen all the time, but a couple of times a year it will. Okay, and then thanks for reading all, and thanks again. Been interested in mining for a while, but not overly impressed with the returns so far. So, he did say, I think I missed something on his, something about mining with extenders, range extenders on Monria. Keep in mind that when you mine one of these advanced areas, and I call them advanced because they kind of are, you shouldn't be mining here unless your feet is really wet and you have a bankroll to support it. That enhancers, range enhancers in these areas also get cut in half, and they're typically not worth using in these areas. Okay. For anybody that's new to this game, get your feet wet, stay mining Planet Side for a long time. It's your best bet. Learn those areas, take notes, write maps, and then once you find good areas, keep on going back, keep on testing your theories, see what is hot and what's not, when's the best time to mine and what's the best time not to. Okay, next question. What do I think about the DSEC? The DSEC's okay. I really should have considered using the DSEC finder when I was doing the events. In fact, next year I probably might use a DSEC finder, only because it has you use more probes to drop and there's more decay in the finder, which typically should equate to a better return overall. Not a better return, but a greater return. I shouldn't say better return. And then we'll leave a couple YouTube questions here. YouTube shoutouts, tips. Yeah, I'll do a shoutout video eventually. There's a couple of YouTubers that I'm watching right now who just seem to have begun their YouTube foray, I guess you could say. And I'll definitely do a shoutout video if these couple of people, or I have more than a couple now, I guess. Or we'll stick with it. So yeah, we could do a shout out video. Probably, I mean, I don't want to rush into it, so give me some time. Tips is one, get a good mic. All right, get a studio condensing mic. Learn how to use Audacity. Learn how to adjust your levels and speak confidently and know your shit. Because if you don't know your shit about what you're doing in game and you don't speak confidently, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Your subscribers will not stay, and you'll more often than not be called out, or you'll get low ratings on the videos, which isn't also a bad thing. Well, guys, I'm not going to call it yet because I have a couple more questions I want to answer, but this was it. We got 52 pet back. It's pitiful. It's been pitiful all week, though. So, like I said, I'm down a couple thousand pet on the spreadsheets right now. No worries. We'll get it back eventually. Hopefully when we do get it back, we increase our chances by mining the high profitability, high markup areas. Tips on YouTube, yeah, we did that, right? And there was another question here. One final YouTube question. How to get subscribers and views to my channel? I'm like a really bad person to ask for that. Here's the thing with my YouTube channel. I've been at this for about 5 years now, right? 4 or 5 years. This is primarily an Entropia based YouTube channel. A lot of the stuff is Entropia, right? I've tried to fraction out into other games and it just doesn't seem to work. It doesn't hold interest. However, I have managed to gather some other subscribers that are interested in those games. In a couple of my other videos, such as the Savage Lands, not only did that get me a few more subscribers and a couple of new subscribers, but also the dev team actually did shoutouts for me on their Twitter a couple times, and then they reached out to me. So, and then there's I have another video. I think it's the Secret Life. Fuck me, man, I can't remember anything right now. But that has gained popularity almost way above the majority of my Entropia videos. You have to have a certain niche. I'm lucky. I'm saying this all because I'm lucky that I started with Entropia at the time I did, and there's really nobody else doing Entropia videos, and I did hundreds of these videos. And then, and then Mindark and Entropia actually Dave Dobson from Arcadia reached out to me and said, hey, you know, you want to do some videos for MindArc? I'm like, yeah, sure. So MindArc reached out to me, one of the guys there, and they're like, all right, let's do this. And then I did, you know, 20 something tutorial videos for MindArc, and, you know, covered all the basics and all the, you know, intro and beginning stuff. And then, you know, I was on the Entropia Universe website for a while. So Entropia has been a great thing to get me the 1,700 or the 1,600 subscribers, whatever I have now, to my channel. And it's been great that I did this game. However, it's also a burden because now the niche is so specific and the game is so nichey that nobody else will really want to join the channel because they have this hate towards the game. Like, they tried it, they didn't like it, or they've heard bad things about it and they don't really fully understand it, or, you know, they put in $50 and they lost it and they're pissed off. So and I really can't do other videos on the channel because they're just not as successful. So that's how I got my subscribers to this YouTube channel. I did giveaways, okay? I posted on forums. I already had a very well-known name in game at the time. I'd already been playing for 6 years or so. Pig Bennis, Pig Haterade. When I global, people saw it. People stopped me. They're like, "Oh, we love your name. Makes me laugh and stuff." So I already had a catchy name, and you know, I just stuck with it. When I first started, I did almost a video every day or every other day. So, but you probably, if you're really interested in YouTube and you want to try to garner views, Entropia might not be the best game for it, especially if you really want to expand your subscribers. You might want to pick a bigger game that's still, you know, still somewhat unknown, but has a large community and a bright future to support it. Now, I'm not saying Entropia doesn't, but we don't have a large community. The community, thankfully, is supportive, but there's no room for growth. So, guys, I hope I got everybody's question. This video is like 22 minutes long. If you guys like this video, please rate it a thumbs up. I'm probably gonna take a little bit of a break, a week, maybe and a half. I always say that. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But I'm working on other things right now, so I will see you guys in the next video.